Hello there, folks. My name is Spoonks, and I saw Red One, and it wasn't very good. I was pretty indifferent about this movie going into it. I liked the premise and the idea of the film, but on execution, judging from the trailers, it didn't look all that promising. None of the jokes really landed, and it just looked like a poor attempt to, quote unquote, modernize a Christmas movie, making it a big, loud action movie. And unfortunately, this movie really let me down, and I wasn't even that excited to this movie to begin with, as this movie was not very good. I did not have a good time with this. There are, however, some positives I have with this movie, though. First off, I like how the movie starts, and I like how the movie ends. That's where it really felt like the filmmakers were trying to make a genuine, heartfelt, solid Christmas movie out of it. This is pretty much the most screen time we see with J.K. Simmons as Santa Claus and him interacting with Dwayne Johnson, and you can definitely feel the Christmas magic, lack thereof, or how little there is here, shine through with the film. And honestly, I thought the way the movie sets it up and how it concludes, I thought was fairly well done. It actually made me interested to see where the film would go, and it did leave me on a happy note on that end. And I also really liked the whole sequence involving Krampus. I loved the character. I thought he was very funny, and the actor who played him did a really good job. I also loved just the designs of everything around him. You can tell that a lot of effort and time was put into just this one sequence with all the various characters and creatures. The Rock and Chris Evans meet up here, and they're all in like these really well designed costumes with really excellent makeup and creature designs. It looked really solid and had some of the funniest moments in the movie. But unfortunately, those are really the only positives I can say with this movie, as once again, this movie just did not deliver. I get what the movie's trying to be. It's trying to be a parody of Christmas movies. They make the North Pole this super secret high-tech government agency, and there's all these very obscure type cynical jokes thrown here and there. Basically, this movie's trying to be Prep and Landing meets Violent Night, if you will. I get that. I understand that. And it's not like none of the jokes made me laugh. There were a couple here and there that made me chuckle, and the Krampus sequence was the highlight, but the problem is that this movie is just not funny. It does not have the humor or the wit or the charm that Prep and Landing or Violent Night did to accomplish what it was setting out to do. And another issue is that even though this is trying to be a parody of Christmas movies, it also desperately wants to be a Christmas movie. So it can't really tell if it knows if it wants to be really stupid, dumb, nonsensical, or actually try to be sincere and emotional, because there are times where the movie is ridiculous and stupid, and you can, I guess, tell that's what they're attempting to go for here. It doesn't really come across that way, but there's an attempt. But there's also moments where the movie takes itself very seriously, and you're supposed to genuinely care about the situations and the stakes of the characters and the events going on here, and it just doesn't really mesh well. I think they just needed to do a better job of meshing these two together, because it's not like this can't go undone. Again, look at Violent Night. That movie was able to accomplish that, or at least pick one lane or the other, be it a very sincere, sweet, emotional Christmas movie, or be a dumb, nonsensical action movie. This movie is also not funny, like, at all. Like, a lot of the jokes here really fall flat. Most of the jokes here are just Chris Evans reacting to the ridiculousness of the situations, and even then that gets really old and is hammered into the ground. And just a lot of bad snarky one-liners, some bad puns here and there, just a lot of bad jokes that really missed the mark, a lot of bad comedic timing. Just overall, the comedy just sucks here. This movie is so unfunny. Again, there were a couple chuckles here and there, but that is not enough to save this movie. It was just not funny. And the characters here are also nothing to write home about. J.K. Simmons is delightful, but he's barely in the movie. Unfortunately, you don't see that much of him. So if you want to see J.K. Simmons as Santa Claus, just watch Klaus. Krampus also barely in the movie, so if you want to see his sequence, just wait for that sequence to be uploaded onto the internet. Everyone else is just really uninteresting or annoying, and I just didn't really care about him. The Rock is pretty bland. He doesn't really emote much. He's doing his stoic everything he does in the Fast and the Furious movies, so he doesn't get the chance to really bring the energy he usually does. So, with stuff like Moana or the Jumanji movies, Chris Evans, he's just there to react to certain situations and be his character from Knives Out, except in Knives Out he was actually really entertaining in that. Here it's not. You have a villain here whose motivation doesn't really make a lot of sense, and the background information is a bit interesting, I guess, but that's it. She's just generic villain, and you've got all these other side characters floating around the North Pole, and you don't really care about them because they're barely in the movie, so they don't really offer much to the story as a whole. And lastly, this movie is just missing that Christmas spirit. This movie just doesn't offer any of that, none of that emotion, none of that charm, none of that wit, none of that feel goodiness that should really make this the holiday feel good movie of the year. This is pretty much the only big Christmas movie out right now, and unfortunately I just don't feel any joy or hope or sympathy for anything here really. And outside of the beginning and ending of the movie, there's just none of that Christmas spirit to really make this shine, unfortunately. So yeah, overall, this movie is really bad. Outside of a strong beginning and ending, some chuckle-worthy moments, and a really solid sequence with Krampus, this movie just completely falls flat. It doesn't know what it wants to be. It struggles with being sincere and sweet and stupid and dumb. The characters aren't really that interesting, and the movie is very not funny. There is so many better Christmas movies that do what this movie is trying to do, and you can just watch them on your TV on your couch right now, as opposed to going to the theater to go see this movie. I do not recommend checking this movie out. This really let me down, and I wasn't even that excited to check this out to begin with, so what does that tell you? Yeah, overall this movie sucks. I didn't really like it. So those are my thoughts on Red 1. What did you all think of it? If you've seen it, did you like it? Did you hate it? Comment down below and let me know. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you like this channel, hit the subscribe button. Follow me on all the social media links at the end of the video, and until next time everyone, stay sharp.
You better watch out, you better not cry, better